Amazing, thank you, thank you. Well, I'm John. I'm a 38-year-old white man, which means I did parkrun this morning. Being 38 means that I used to get ads for army recruitment and dating websites, whereas now I get ads for life insurance, hair loss, and Reform UK. According to the algorithm, apparently my two biggest worries are stop the bowling and stop the boats. But man, I miss the old days of social media. Do you remember the early days of Facebook where people would just post the maddest things? Yeah. Like everyone just had that friend who would always do that little passive-aggressive status. And it'd always start with something like, not naming names, but... The other day I decided to look back to some of my original Facebook statuses. Massive error. Do not do that. September 2007, this is one of my actual statuses I wrote, and just to say this was after a bit of a rough breakup, I wrote as my status, it would take an ice pick to break your frozen heart. Yeah. In my defense, it had been a pretty bad breakup. So 2 weeks before, my girlfriend sat me down and said, look, I'm really nervous about you heading off to uni, that you're going to find someone else. And so I thought, to try and prove to her my love and devotion, I'm a very biblical guy, I thought I was going full Samson. I said, look, I'm going to shave off. I was back in the emo days, I had long, kind of flick emo hair, and I was like, I will shave off all my hair to prove to you that I'm only here for you. And she said, fine. So I shaved off all my hair. First day of uni, she calls me. She says, John, we need to break up. And I was like, why? And she said, well, I want to go work with horses in China. And I was like, you've never mentioned horses and you never mentioned China. So I'm sat there first day of uni, completely heartbroken and flipping bold. But I wanted to handle it maturely. So I decided to write her a letter. And I wrote her letter on behalf of the Chinese Horse Federation. True story. And I took this seriously. I designed a full-on logo, remember clip art, I got some horse's head, some random Chinese word, I have no idea what they meant around it. And I wrote to her saying, congratulations, you have been accepted into the Shanghai Horse Rider Intern Scheme. Never heard back. Man, well, thankfully those days are behind me now. I'm happily married. My wife Catherine is here tonight. Can we hear it for Catherine? Being married is awesome. What isn't awesome is getting married during COVID. That sucked. It was weird times. We had someone, a family member of Catherine's, not naming names, but a family member of Catherine's, who said, sorry, I can't come to your wedding. And we said, well, why is that? And she said, because there'll be magnet people at your wedding. And we were like, what do you mean? She said, well, I don't know if you've heard, but when you get the vaccine, it makes you magnetic. Which I thought was absolutely fair enough. Very sensible woman. But being married's great, I enjoy being married, but the thing that no one tells you about is when you get married, you don't just marry one person, you marry a whole family. And I love my in-laws as much as the next guy, but there is one problem. And it's that they love dogs. And I hate dogs. It's not that I hate dogs, I don't have an issue with dogs, I don't have an issue even with dog people. I have an issue with dog parents. Now, you know what I'm talking about? The other day I was walking through the park in the distance, I see this mum walking towards me with a pram. And she gets closer. I notice in the pram isn't a baby, it's a sausage dog. Why is a pooch in a pushchair? This is mental. Another time, I was sat in a coffee shop, at a table next to me, I saw a bunch of flyers, I picked one up. These were flyers for a doggy spa. For a doggy spa. Look, let me just say, if your dog is struggling with social anxiety, if it's feeling overwhelmed with life, it doesn't need some hot stone feng shui facial. What it needs is to be put down. My wife's over there like, oh, Jon, this is awful. That's literally how she sounds. To be fair, that's how all women sound. So don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, but I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to be a good husband, a good son-in-law. And so last Christmas, we all sat around the Christmas table together. That's a nice, wholesome family fun, me and the in-laws, and we're playing some bananagrams, which for those who don't know is kind of like poor man's Scrabble. So we're sat there playing bananagrams, me and the family, and on the chair next to me is Bingo, one of the 3 family dogs. And Bingo's there, paws up on the table, and the family thought it'd be funny to deal it some of the letter tiles, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous, because he's dyslexic. So we're playing bananagrams, when all of a sudden, Bingo yelps, falls to the floor, goes completely rigid, and starts foaming at the mouth. And so obviously there's a lot of panic. They rush, they get a towel, they wrap him up, and we run out to the car, and I grab the door handle and open the door, but I can't get my hand off the handle because I've had the vaccine. But eventually we're flying down these Devon roads, we make it to the vet. Catherine's mum and sister, they rush inside with the vet, and me and Catherine are outside, and she's pacing up and down praying, oh God, would Bingo live? Whereas I'm pacing up and down thinking, oh God, would you let... Well, let's just say God answered Catherine's prayer, because a few moments later the vet came out with the dog and said, Bingo is going to be all right. And I thought, you know what? I'm actually glad Bingo pulled through. Maybe I am a dog person after all. But sadly, a few months later, Bingo didn't make it, he passed away. And I like to picture Bingo now just up in heaven, you know, running around with the angels, playing bananagrams, with the other doggies having a hot stone feng shui facial. Just kidding. Dogs don't go to heaven. Hey, but one thing we can be certain of is cats definitely go to hell. Thanks everyone.